Venus in the seventh house, or the harmonizer, will always seem to desire some kind of relationship, a one-to-one relationship, not just about the me or the I, not just about the you, but the essence of we. What is a relationship and how does that operate, and how willing are you to cooperate with others? In fact, it's important that the other person's personality doesn't actually encroach on the person with Venus in the seventh house. Funnily enough, if we see a Saturn and Venus in the seventh house, this might not be a bad thing. This can actually mean a committed relationship. Sometimes because Saturn's in here, it may mean that you don't find that committed relationship until later in life. Ultimately, if you have a partnership and you have Venus in the seventh house, it is perfect when both partners can mirror each other's values. Venus in this position also gives the person a social dynamic, an understanding of their one-to-one relationships, and sophistication when it comes to being very courteous. People with this Venus placement in the seventh house have very good manners. Venus in the eighth house is rather intense, but it does indicate that this person is very good at investing. In fact, investments and intimate, authentic relationships actually help them transform their life, both them and the person they are somewhat engaged with. Sometimes there can be a low-key obsession and they crave close, authentic intimacy, both emotionally, sexually, physically, yada, yada, yada. The true power of this Venus placement is about vulnerability, and therefore trust becomes a very key issue here. If trust can't be established, there could be a possessive or controlling nature with someone who has Venus in the eighth house. But circling back around to the investment, this is actually fantastic for finding investments that you share with others. It's very resourceful. It understands the value of resources and can negotiate and be very diplomatic and cooperate with others, so they make sure as both people in that negotiation end up on top and win. After all, you never really want to negotiate with someone where you win and they don't, because that will always circle back around to you in some kind of karmic clusterfuck. Venus in the ninth house loves freedom, and therefore when they form their relationships, they want to share freedom of expression. Now, this means adventure, both physically and metaphysically. Physically in the sense that they will enjoy overseas travel. Metaphysically in the sense that they want to get closer to God. They want to develop their worldview. They will become very sophisticated at scale with learning different philosophies and sponging up as much knowledge as they possibly can. And this is reflective of their relationships. They really desire to be free, have the freedom of will, of thought, of judgment, of knowledge, to discover anything they want. They're technically not very clingy, stereotypically. In fact, many folks that have Venus in the ninth house may actually find that they live abroad. They actually literally move overseas. These people also make fine teachers, educators, lawyers. Sometimes they end up being incorporated with the justice system. And in fact, if you have Venus in your ninth house, that can be favorable for your legal affairs. Caveat, if you have a Pluto or a Saturn involved with that Venus, then that is a different story. If you have Jupiter next to your Venus, that is rather favorable for positive outcomes, legally speaking. Sometimes you might ask someone with Venus in the ninth house, did you enjoy college or university? And that was very much a turning point in their life where they were able to evolve. In fact, in some situations, they may have had a love affair with their teacher or their tutor or someone that they studied with. Venus in the 10th house is somewhat aware of their public reputation, and they have a lot of grace and integrity when they enter their career or their general life direction. They want to be seen in a certain light. Now, these people are generally loved and charming in their career, and they will eventually rise to some kind of managerial or administrative position. However, coping with ominous responsibilities may be an issue unless they have a trine or a sextile to something like Saturn that makes them a bit more obligated and diligent. Prestige is very important, and their ability to delegate. In fact, this could be your stereotypical diplomat. Financial gain, again, here is highlighted. Venus rules money, but it should not be the focus at the end of the day. Aspiring to your happiness and serving your happiness and fulfillment is what Venus in the 10th house needs. It's not just about the material possessions in this case. This can also indicate that you have formed a power couple. Now, this could be a business partnership, or you've married someone who has an equal status to you. Your public integrity really needs to suit your private integrity. They need to align in some way. Venus in the 11th house, the idealist of the future, innovative. Social networking becomes a key theme here. Being able to impress or light up a room, being able to connect people. You would be good at this, you would be good at this, you two should meet one another. At some stage in their life, Venus in the 11th house usually has a lot of friends. Again, they're quite charming. They can read the room, let's say. Now, if Venus in the 11th house doesn't have many friends, they may have a lot of acquaintances. And if that's not the case, their partner may be very popular and have loads of friends and connections and networks that they can somewhat develop and utilize and leverage from. Venus in the 11th house will find a lot of honor and fulfillment when they work directly with their community. Now, the 11th house is also about our hopes and dreams, so they are very future focused, and that is worth noting. Some of them will want to innovate old, traditional, outdated power hierarchies of the past, and they actually want to become a lot more progressive, especially with the people that they associate with. Finally, Venus in the 12th house, the mystic. Venus in the 12th house doesn't really know what it likes or dislikes, what it finds valuable or what it doesn't find valuable. Now, sometimes they don't even value themselves, and other people will actually value them more than they value themselves, if that makes sense. They may have secret or hidden love affairs that other people never learn about. They may really respect the peace. They want to be left alone. They want to work behind the scenes. I find personally that Venus in the 12th house is probably the least judgmental placement you can have for your Venus. If you are or you know someone with Venus in the 12th house, respect their boundaries. They'll actually love you more. When they want to be alone, don't take that personally. They are trying to dissolve their relationship with reality, dissolve the boundaries between themselves and the universe. They want to form a universal oneness, let's say. This was part 2 of Venus through the houses. If you want to see the first 6 houses, go for a scroll. It should be the video basically before this one. Drop some knowledge. Did this resonate with you? Hope that helps. Okay, bye.